I'm growing some pumpkins from seed this year in my garden, and I went out and took a photo with my iPhone, I think it is. And when I went ahead and opened it in the image editor, you can see it is 4,032 pixels in width and 3,024 in height, and that's much bigger than you would put on a website. So I'm going to need to resize this. What size does our image need to be? Well, it really depends on what you're using it for. Here is my Windows machine, and I have two monitors. And you can see that this monitor number 1 has a 1920 by 1080 pixels. So that's for the whole screen. And as you recall, our image size was much larger than that. So it would be, I don't know, at least twice as large as filling up this entire screen. Obviously too large for a website display. What size do your images need to be? I'm at my most recent news blog post, and I have a extension in my browser. This one is Chrome, and it's called Page Ruler. I've activated, you can't see it's off screen, and I'm just going to do a rough triangle here just to get an idea of the size. We don't have to be perfect. And what I'll do is I'll show you down here the information that the plugin gave me, which is that my squared area here, or rectangular in this case, is 655 pixels by 365 pixels height. So that gives me a rough idea of what image would be suitable if I'm going to display it on a page with about 60% of the screen area. Here I've got a page where I've uploaded the original image, which is quite large as you recall, and then I've resized it here to a much more suitable size for this space. So it looks fine and the same on the screen. Let's take a look and see how it loads from the front end. See how much slower this is loading, and that's the whole point. I'm actually surprised it loaded as quickly as it did. And you might say, well, what's the big deal? Well, the big deal is that Google, like it or not, has 92.47% of the world's market share for search engines. So if you want the most popular search engine to find you, speed has become one of the most important factors in how your page will land in results. How does this fit into your workflow? Well, if you only have a couple of images, you can use an image editor that you're familiar with. Maybe one came with your camera or operating system, and there's a whole other host of solutions when it comes to image editors. This is an online free option that has become popular lately, and you can upload an image from your computer. You'd go ahead and resize it to the size that we found was going to work for you. And then when you've done that, you would go ahead and export it. Most commonly, I'm going to recommend exporting it as a JPG file. However, I am moving towards WebP. It is a much smaller file and retains all your data. There's still a couple of components in Joomla that don't fully support it. And so until it's used universally in Joomla, I'm going to still recommend this. This will also be more commonly used if you are sending these pictures to various outlets and people. This is going to be more popular. What if you have a lot of images, like you have a storefront and you have a number of products? You might want to go ahead and look at the controls on your camera itself. So when you take the pictures, they're automatically sized how you would like. Or maybe you're thinking you might want to use those larger sizes for another purpose. You could also go ahead and just use something like a bulk image converter. There's millions of them, I'm sure. Okay, millions is an exaggeration, but this is one that is very affordable for you, easy to use, cross-platform, and allows you, what you're looking for is a batch image resizer. And when you go through, and there's some tutorials online all about it, and what you'll want to do is go through, select your folder that you have all your images, set your settings, and then choose to batch convert them, and then all your images will be sized to the specifics you need so that you can easily use them at that point.